Hey everybody, welcome back to Bobby Builds It, where today is new tool day. And what we have here is the Skil TS6307 15 amp 10-inch table saw. It comes with its own stand. I'll take a picture of the front of the box so you can see some of the other specs. This is the first table saw that I've ever bought. I've used a few in different other places, but my 7th grade shop teacher had us duly terrified of table saws. That thing was from like 1968 and probably had a diesel motor in it or some craziness. And he's like, here, this thing will throw a 2x4 through the cinder block. So only a few people are going to get to use it. And that kind of scared me off from getting one. That's why I started with the miter saw over there. But, you know, safety has improved and I've used a few in different other places. And so now we're going to get started with this one. Let's see what's in the box. Before we go any further, I am not sponsored by Skil or anybody else in any way, shape, or form. This is just the one I picked out after doing some research because the price was right. Now let's see what we got in here. Some instructions. Push stick. Blade guard. Miter gauge. That's an adjustment wheel for the fence maybe. Dust port. Riving knife. I can't remember exactly what this is called, but it helps hold the boards down. Giant styrofoam. And finally, we have the saw. Oops, not finally, the fence, of course. And there probably will be times that you want to sit this on its side. So it's got these convenient little spots that are raised up here, the red one and another one over here. So it's not actually hitting this part of the table if you want to. First thing the book says to do is cut off some zip ties. So we're going to do that. Oh, there's a handle on the opposite side too. And there's a piece of foam down here. We can get rid of it somehow. Okay, should have read the book a little bit further first just to get that piece of foam out. Man, it is wedged in there pretty good. So all you do is you come and unlock the blade bevel here. And that lets you move the blade. You lift it up and the foam will fall right out. To fold the legs out couldn't be easier. Just push the red button, pull them up. They'll lock into place. Next, we'll install the knob for the rack and pinion fence. Put it on there. Take the nut and washer they gave you and put it in. This is probably harder to film than it is to actually do. It said hold the knob while you tighten. Doesn't move. Yeah, I got it to finally catch, I think. Oh no. Well, that's where it goes. Let me get where I can actually see what I'm doing. And to adjust the fence, this lever here, unlock it. That's locked. That's unlocked. And just turn. There we go. Easy as that. Next, we're going to install the riving knife and the blade guard, and it says to pull the throat plate out, then raise the blade up all the way. That's how long that takes. Then make sure the blade is vertical. I've got it set to 0 down here. I'm going to make sure it's good. 0 it there. And it's pretty close. Wind picked up. After all that commotion, I got it to 90. I haven't messed with where the indicator is on the saw yet. Let's see if I can get it. We can see. So you can see it's a little bit off, but there's a screw that I can use. I don't know if you can see it. It's right there. And move that indicator to get it lined up a little bit better. To install the riving knife, you get this lever here, pull it up, and there's a little plate, move it just a little, and it'll slide down and lock it back in. You'll want to make sure this hole lines up with this post right there. And it's all the way in. There you go. I actually didn't realize until just now that the blade guard has its own riving knife. It goes in just the same. Lock it in, give it a tug. It's not going anywhere. So it's amazing what you'll figure out if you just read ahead a little bit before we start doing stuff. So this, with these plastic pieces here, this is for if you're cutting all the way through the board, and you can attach these paws on it as well. They go just like this, and they also help with kickback. I can get them locked on. Yeah, there we go. This other riving knife, that's for if you're doing, half laps, partial cut through type things. You'll probably see a lot of videos with this saw that don't have this on it at all. I'm probably going to use it most of the time though, unless I'm trying to record something and it's absolutely in the way. Be safe. The saw does come with the 2 wrenches that you need to get the blade on and off. They're stored over on the side where the handle is, up underneath there. It wasn't worth filming. So you take the open end one, and put it over here on the arbor shaft, and you rotate it till you feel it hit the flat parts, and you hold. And take the other wrench, and then you just move in opposite directions and loosen it just like that. And you can unscrew the nut the rest of the way and then tighten it. You just do the opposite, just like that. The rip fence couldn't be any easier to get on and off. There's these posts here, and there's a corresponding one on either side. Just line that notch up with the post. Slide it on. Make sure you're lined up over there. Lock them in. Just pop these levers up to take them off. Now we need to check to make sure the blade is square with the miter slots. So get yourself a combination square, put it in the slot, mark a spot on the blade, take note of what your measurement is, rotate the mark to over here on the front, check again, and I'm good. And sorry for the handheld camera work here, but if the blade is not square with the miter slot, they've included this handy dial to get it set up. There's a wing nut back here you loosen, then you turn this to adjust it. I'm not going to do that because my blade is good right now and I don't want to mess it up. Back here on the outfeed side is the dust port, and I'm very happy because my shop vacuum hose just goes right in there. Perfect. We're about done getting this thing set up and dialed in, but I wanted to show you the auxiliary fence here. So think this part, when it's in this position, is mostly for cutting very, very thin material. But the other part, if you're extending this way out here, you can pull it up and drop it down to there's a lower setting here. Put it on the furthest post and it will support your piece if you're needing to use the table way out here. I didn't show the last position of the fence, how I'll probably use it most of the time. Popped up, folded all the way back here. Now, we're almost ready to actually start making cuts. But one thing you never ever want to do is this. You can see just trying to push it, it's getting caught against the fence. It can push back on the blade. You're going to get some kickback, and you don't want that. Anytime you're doing cross cuts, either have the fence way out there or just take it off altogether. Here's the on off switch. Gotta reach through the hole, turn it on. Bump that to turn it off. Okay, I've unplugged the saw again because you never want to mess with blade stuff with the power plugged in. That's just a bad idea. All right, we're gonna set our blade height and we're gonna finally get to doing some cutting. So, the knob is over here, we've seen that. When you're setting your height, you want it to just barely come out of the wood. You don't want to be like this. Just sure, that'll cut, but you're just increasing your odds of kickback. Set it where that tallest tooth is just coming out. Now we're ready to go. All right, y'all just saw the first ever cut this saw made. I mean, who would practice that kind of thing before filming it? Okay, let's talk about this miter gauge a little bit. This is what comes with it. It's probably going to be the first thing I upgrade. Yeah, took a little doing to get it dialed in, but you can adjust whatever you need to do there. But let's go ahead and see how it does on a 60-degree miter cut. Loosen. Move it over there to 60. And tighten it back down. Put it in the slot. Before I actually make the cut, I want to do a test pass. Make sure I know where my hands are gonna be as I'm pushing it through. Didn't really do it on the 90 cut because I knew my hands were gonna be way over there. But let's lower the blade down. And just make sure my fingers are never gonna be close. All right. Also, don't forget about your hearing protection and your eye protection. I'll put a video up, or part of this video, that shows the decibels this thing is putting out, just so you see. But yeah, protect your ears and eyes. Okay, let's set the blade height again. Hope you can see that. It's a little bit higher. That'll be good. Now we can make the cut. Okay, we're all set up for a rip cut. You know, the main thing this is going to be used for. It has a push stick that came with it, and it has a spot to hold the push stick to keep it, you know where it is all the time. But I would go ahead and get it out before you start cutting because it sticks just a little bit. I think it's better to have it there where you can reach it. All right, let's go ahead and start making our cut. All right, well, that's going to about wrap this one up. I didn't show, doing like partial cut throughs, but just set the blade height where you need it to do. You can adjust the scale over here for the fence if you need to, but most of the time I'm just going to be measuring from the blade to the fence on rip cuts, see what I need to do. I will, put this thing through its paces for a year doing all the projects. I'll probably video everything I do with it. And we'll recap then. But other than that, I thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and y'all be good.